Pac-12 football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. 10 bold calories, 23 flavors. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Working our way toward kickoff here on the farm. Absolutely perfect afternoon. Fans still filing into Stanford Stadium for the Cougars and the Cardinal. Rich Cellini, Coy Wire upstairs. Let's welcome the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Aaron Coscarelli.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Well, there is an intense quarterback battle going on with Washington State right now. For the past 5 games, sophomore Connor Halliday has gotten the start, but he made some bad decisions in the last game. Coach Leach took him out, replaced him with senior Jeff Toole. He's the guy starting today. Now, when I talked to Coach Leach, he told me Toole is a guy, he's more methodical, more concentrated, reads the field better, but he also likes to hold on to the ball a little bit too long. And when you've got a young offensive line like the Cougars have, and you're playing a team like Stanford, this could be problematic. So we'll have to see if Toole can make a connection with star receiver Marquise Wilson, and hopefully, guys, keep that starting spot.
Thank you, Aaron. That will be an interesting part of it, Coy. You look at what Aaron talks about, trying to get Toole a little bit of protection. He's much better in the pocket than outside of it. He's going to face a defensive line in Stanford that's as good as any in the country. Mike Leach, 10 seasons at Texas Tech, 10 straight bowl games, his first season on the Palouse. Let's just say he has a unique and refreshing way to look at things in life.
That's absolutely certain. I think everyone knows who has seen this guy speak and see how he handles his team. It's clear that he wants to get his grasp on this football team and implement his style, his system, his philosophy. Some guys are still on board. Some guys didn't make the cut, but there's definitely a lot of changes going on the Palouse.
Williamson to send it away for Stanford. Cougars will get the ball first. And it'll be a muff and a kneel down in the end zone. Jeff Toole, this his senior year. He has taken a lot of hits, has battled injuries. The report on him, very solid when he's in the pocket, not quite as accurate when you make him move.
Yeah, absolutely right, Rich. He's 65% when he's in the pocket, only 35% when he's forced out of the pocket, scrambling. So this is one thing that this defensive line from Stanford can do, that's put pressure on the quarterback. Let's see if Washington State tries to implement a little bit of a quick game in the passing game to get some rhythm going.
Cougars come out, 2-by-2 formation, and we'll see Washington State toss it around on a regular basis. Toole to the air on first down, and for Washington State right there, that is exactly what you like from them. In essence, a running play, 5-yard completion to Gabe Marks. Look at our starting lineups brought to you by Esurance. Eklund, the left tackle, a freshman walk-on. This a patchwork offensive line for Washington State. Backs and receivers, Marquise Wilson, their most dynamic playmaker, one of the best players in the entire conference. 2nd down and 5. Cougars going to run. Carl Winston will just get back to the line of scrimmage. Cardinal defensive line among the best in the business. Just ask the folks from USC. Anderson, Stevens, and Garner up front. Linebacking core led by Chase Thomas, an All-American in 2011. Every bit as good this season. And the defensive backfield, Alex Carter, a true freshman, got his first career start against Cal last week. Finds himself in the starting lineup again here today.
Alex Carter held his own. They're really excited about what this guy can do. We'll see how he does in his second game as a starter.
3rd down and 5. Toole time. A little pitch and catch again for Washington State. That'll move the chains. Terrence Brown had the coverage. 2nd catch this afternoon for the freshman Gabe Marks.
That's 2 pass attempts, 2 completions. Exactly what we talked about here. You're going to see a quick slant. They need to get this quick passing game going, not give the defensive line for Stanford enough time to get pressure on Toole. So 2 pass plays, 2 quicks. This is what we were expecting to see.
Down for the Cougars. Now Stanford will bring more pressure, and Toole will have to scurry back. He'll be dropped for a loss. It'll be a sack officially.
You see what happens there, Rich. As soon as they run some deeper routes and try to, get some time for the quarterback to make a longer throw, it just wasn't there. That defensive front is salivating. They know that they can rack up the sacks in that column today.
Good note, Stanford, the only team in the conference, has not allowed somebody to score on their opening possession. Loss of 2 on the sack, 2nd down and 12. Washington State going to try to run, and this will go absolutely nowhere. Mason swallowed up.
That was a great play there. You're going to see an angle here from behind, and watch the wide splits. Okay, first of all, there's wide splits on that offensive line, but then they just miss a blocking assignment, and that's double trouble, especially when you have the big man, number 92, Trent Murphy up there. He's going to make that play every single time.
3rd and 15, opening drive of the game. Toole. Sacked again. Trent Murphy gets in the backfield and cuts down Jeff Toole.
This is a guy who's been sacking the quarterback all year long. They're running a lot of twists and stunts up in the A-gaps. This is a problem that Washington State has had all year long. You saw it right there. They're having trouble picking up the twists. We talked with their defensive coordinator, Derek Mason. They've seen it on film. That's exactly how they're going to try to attack him. They said Trent Murphy and Chase Thomas are going to be their guys. They're going to line them up and try to attack the middle of that offensive line.
Bolin sends the punt away. Terrell will back away from it. It'll kick forward, take a Stanford bounce, and be out of bounds. And Cardinal will have decent field position for their opening offensive possession of the game. Josh Nunes replacing Andrew Luck. Those are big shoes to fill. It has been up and down, the best up. Bring the team back for an overtime win against Arizona when they were down by 14 in the 4th quarter.
That was an interesting game because it was a game where I thought that Stanford had a defense where they could slow that offense down. Well, they didn't. And I thought that Josh Nunes, if it got into a shootout, was going to have trouble putting up the points. He didn't. He really rose up to the occasion. We know he has the ability to connect on passes.
No surprise, the opening play of the game is a handoff to Stephon Taylor. Starting lineups presented by Esurance. Offensive line for the Cardinal, Sam Schwartzstein, the senior from Southlake, Texas. An All-American candidate. He's also been an outstanding teacher, bringing the youngsters along. Lean Toilolo, one of 2 outstanding tight ends for the Cardinal, and Stephon Taylor well on his way to becoming the all-time leading rusher in the history of Stanford football. 2nd down and 5. Nunes swing pass to the outside, and the Cardinals are going to get a 1st down. Stanford moving things in the right direction. Washington State's defense will have to put up with what the Stanford offense calls body blows. The men up front a little bit undersized for what they're going to face. Stanford also is going to rotate in offensive linemen. Linebacking core led by Travis Long, an outstanding player. And Dayon Buchanan, 2010, he was a freshman All-American. He is big, he comes downhill fast. Stanford may want to try to lure him in a little bit and go over the top.
He's going to be all over the football field today. He's physical, he's aggressive. There you see him coming up with a nice hit. They're going to know where number 20 is all day long.
Talk more about what the coaches describe as those body blows, and there's a good example right there.
Yeah, so they're going to try to wear down this Washington State defense. They said they like to, as you said, hit with the body blows to set up a haymaker later on in the game. That's where the play action comes into play. That's where Ertz, that's where Toilolo comes to life. So they're really going to try, as they have all year long, they're going to try to just establish this run, tire that defensive front down, and then eventually go for the big shots downfield.
2nd down and 8. Wilkerson has room around the outside. Finally knocked out of bounds, Anthony Wilkerson. The change up to Stephon Taylor, and everything working on the ground for the Cardinal.
This is going to be phenomenal blocking by the offensive front, and then you have their lead guy, Brian Hewitt, comes up on a lead block for him and sets up a phenomenal opportunity for him to burst to the outside. He made a guy miss. Great job by Wilkerson, making a good play even better.
Are my eyes deceiving me? Is Stanford in an empty offensive formation?
They absolutely are, and by the way this offense plays, they might be offensive linemen out there. They don't do this ever.
1st down for Stanford, including new wrinkles as they move through the season. Here comes pressure. Ball tipped and falls incomplete. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Now got a hand on it. Could have had a chance at an interception.
That was a great job. Anytime you have a 3-step or quick route, the defensive linemen are taught to get their hands up, disrupt the vision of the quarterback, and hopefully get a big paw on that football, just like you saw there. Great job by Galtup.
6'3" junior from Southern California. Second down and 10. Back to a more traditional Stanford set with the fullback, Taylor the deep back. Stephon Taylor over the left side. Blasted at the 25.
There's our guy Deion Buchanan coming up, Rich, and we talked about he's going to be all over the place. This was actually an unbalanced front, an unbalanced line. Washington State didn't get adjusted, so that there initially was a huge hole, but then you have a safety just coming up and making a picture-perfect tackle. That's textbook tackle if you've ever seen one.
That's Coy Wire-like.
I don't know about that. Long time ago.
Wire, decade in the NFL and one of the more versatile players ever in the history of Stanford football. Ran with the ball, then decided you like tackling people better than running it. Is that what happened?
You're giving me goosebumps over it. Don't get me thinking about football. I get flashbacks. You never know. I might be hitting you up here in the booth.
Nunes on third down and 7. The sideline caught but incomplete, out of bounds. Patterson got his hands on it, couldn't get his feet down.
Just a little wide. Big target, 6'3", 208 pounds, Jamal Rashad Patterson. He got a little bit of pressure coming in here. Nunes did a good job of hanging in there. I know he saw that coming out of the corner of his eye. I respect that most about quarterbacks who hang in there and try to deliver that football. Just a little bit wide, probably because he was hurried by the pressure.
Williamson on for the field goal. This has been a bit of an adventure this season for Stanford. Down, kicks away, plenty of leg. That's just how you draw it up. One possession for Stanford, 3 points on the board. Timeout on the farm, 8:23 to go in the first quarter. Welcome back to Stanford. Rich Cellini, Coy Wire, Aaron Coscarelli on the Pac-12 Networks. Cardinal leading the Cougars 3-0. Solid start offensively for Stanford. Washington State's going to have to figure out a way to deal with the linemen for Stanford. Maloney to return for Washington State. And he'll work his way across the 25.
Great series by the Stanford defensive front. Now there you see Trent Murphy just exploiting a one-on-one situation. Then he gets back to the quarterback again, and we're going to pause it right there. You saw, maybe can we back it up for a second? This is Trent Murphy. You're going to watch him. Pause it right there, guys. You're going to see this pick action, right? It's going to free up Chase Thomas, allow him to come on around, and then next thing you know, when they try to pick him up, Trent Murphy's coming free. This is actually a punt block pressure, and we talked to Derek Mason. He said their splits on that front line are so wide, it's like punt protection, so we're going to send punt rushes at them. That's exactly what that was. It was an A-gap act stunt. Have one guy pick, let the other guy come around. You have two guys that are really bringing the heat up the middle. We're going to see a lot more of that because, as we saw right there, Washington State was not ready for it. They're going to make sure that they get that corrected on Washington State.
How good is this front for Stanford? Cal rushed the ball 28 times and got 3 yards. 28 rushes, 3 yards.
And you talk about a team who averages 195 yards a game running the ball, and they did that. So this is just a testament. It was a glimpse of what this team is capable, and it was what they've been looking to show to themselves and to the nation all year long. Dominant football on the defensive side.
Toole with time in the pocket again connects with Marks.
Well, and the reason here, you see there's only 3 rushers on the defensive front for Stanford. They want to do that so they can put 8 guys in the secondary to drop back in pass covers. They're going to see if Toole can find the open receiver.
Gain of 10, back out to 25. There was a hold on the return, and that puts Washington State back. Bartolone with the catch for Washington State. So the deeper routes ended up getting Toole sacked on that first possession. The short ones are working for the Cougars.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to see them realize that, okay, there's a bunch of smart coaches over there. They're going to say, okay, let's see if we can take these small chunks of yardage and methodically move the football down. Let's not go to the big shot yet. We'll save that for later in the game. Look for a lot more quick passes.
2nd and 4. Come for Stanford, and Toole has to let it go and floats it over the middle. threw it right at the feet of Tarpley.
And I don't blame him for that. They had big Chase Thomas was breathing down his neck there, so he was getting that football out quickly. He actually did have a receiver open, but just great job of Chase Thomas, one of the best in the nation, getting after the quarterback. A.J. Tarpley's going to be back there picking off passes if they keep getting heat on Tool like that and forcing errant throws.
Officials come in and step over the ball. 3rd down and 4. Second possession for Washington State. Tool stands tall, throws complete, and a first down for the Cougars. Gino Simone out of bounds. Washington State will move the chains.
And again, he came back, Rich. They came right back to that quick, just a guy quick out to the flat. They tried to run the same pressure up the middle with the twist, with the pick and the twist, and a great job by the receiver, just getting outside leverage, beating the guy to the flat. Great individual effort to get the first down, keep the chains moving.
The senior comes up, relays the play. To the air on first down. Tool slips and falls down back at the 35.
Big Josh Morrow coming in, forcing the pressure, getting a sack. You know, great job by the 6'6", 277-pound junior from Hurst, Texas. Last game he had 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, a sack. You know, so this guy, you're gonna see a lot of rotation during this game because Washington State has a lot of plays. They run this offense such fast tempo. You're gonna see a lot of guys changing on the defensive front for Stanford to keep them fresh.
Loss of 7 on the sack, 2nd and 17. Tool gets drilled, pass tipped over the middle, incomplete. Ratliff couldn't haul it in, and Tool has taken a beating at that position throughout his career at Washington State.
He has, and that's why this is his first game since the East Carolina game back in, on September 8th. He's been out because he was getting hit, and he's going to have to, really get the ball out quickly. This defensive front is too good to sit back there like a sitting duck with these guys who can really get after it. So he's going to have to find that quick receivers, get quick routes, and take advantage of getting the ball out quickly.
3rd and 17. It's up a little middle screen to Marquise Wilson, and he is caught and dropped at the 40. Flag flies in. First reception for Wilson. Marquise Wilson leads Washington State their career receiving numbers. He's at the top of virtually every category.
There was no foul for pass interference. The pass was crossed behind the line of scrimmage. Now it'll be 4.
It's 3rd and 17. They only got 5. It's 4th down and 12.
They're trying to get the ball into the hands of their playmaker. Stanford doing a great job keeping everything in front of them. Give them a short throw, right? You want to stay deep, make them try to beat you in missed tackles. They did a great job keeping everything in front, but 3rd down this year, Stanford defense has been phenomenal. 29% on the year. That puts them at 10th in the nation, being able to get off the field on 3rd down. Absolutely outstanding.
Old second punt, he just gets it out. And it'll be grabbed by the Cougars near the 35. Stanford football when we come back to the farm. They have a 3-0 lead. Welcome back to Stanford. Time for our Napa Keys to the Game.
You're going to have to establish a 3-step passing game like we talked about. That Stanford front gets after the quarterback. They have to get the ball out quickly for the Cougars here. And they also have to dominate on special teams. They have to establish good field position, not put themselves in a bad situation. Stanford, establish the run. Don't let Travis Long get after the quarterback if they force you to a passing game. And also protect the football for the Cardinal, because the only equalizer here in this game today, a major equalizer, would be if they turn that football over.
Absolutely. Kevin Hogan, the freshman. Stanford would like to get, Coach Shaw said, maybe between 10, 15, maybe even 20 plays in the game, depending on how things go. Great example of a guy who comes in, does some good things. Coach Shaw says if you can do things well in practice on a regular basis, you'll earn an opportunity in the game.
Absolutely, and this is exactly what Kevin Hogan has done. His first game where he got a touch, he had 1 touch versus Washington. He had 2 touches versus Notre Dame.
And there's a whole bunch of touches on Nunes, and he gets dropped for a sack. Last week, his first career pass goes for a touchdown to Levine Toilolo in the big game. How you like that? That's about right.
That's a great place to do it. I mean, a huge crowd, sellout crowd. But this is a guy, they're earning their trust. He's earned their trust. They've been building and growing this package for him. They've been grooming him since last spring. You know, as I said before, he had 1 touch in the Washington game, and he had 2 touches against Notre Dame, 5 against Cal. So I was surprised to hear Coach said they might try to give him the ball 10 to 15 times a day because they love his ability to not only throw the ball, but be able to take off and run.
Nunes on 3rd down and 11. That's been flying incomplete in the direction of Zach Ertz. And so if you're Washington State coming in here, the game has a feel, if you didn't glance at the score, that Stanford is dominating, yet you get a stop right here, it's still just 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that was a great stop for the Washington State Cougars. They needed that. They needed a 3-and-out to say, you know what, we can test these guys early. We're going to challenge them. We're going to show them that we came to play. They're fresh off a bye week. They're going to give them everything they've got. If they can take down the Stanford Cardinal, that'll right a lot of wrongs that have happened this season.
Cougar football when we come back. Timeout. Welcome back to Stanford. Cardinal leading the Cougars 3-0. 3:56 to go first quarter. Rich Cellini, Coy Wire, Aaron Coscarelli, Jeff Toole, the senior from Fresno, quarterbacking the Cougars. Earl Winston is the running back. Washington State comes out 3 receivers to the right. Toole has been harassed all afternoon. On first down, they go quickly. Marks, catch and run. Washington State's got to figure out a way to keep Toole upright.
These guys have been doing it all year long. You see Trent Murphy there on 1 pressure. Then you're going to see Josh Morrow coming around getting his hand in it. And here's a hit by A.J. Tarpley that you talk about body blows, Rich. I mean, this is something that they're going to have to take care of, or Jeff Toole and the Cougars are going to have a long day. This defensive front is too good. They have to find a way to get that ball out quicker.
2nd and 5. Same play. Ball on the ground and knocked out of bounds. An opportunity for Stanford to grab a turnover, couldn't come up with it. Carrington was in the neighborhood, couldn't quite grab it.
Gabe Marks, you know, he's just going to see it. It was a great hit, but so this is exactly what they need to do. Quick passes, they'll take 5-6 yards. But great job by the defender coming up, putting his hat on the ball, knocking it out. Washington State got away with one there because that ball was a bit slippery. They had great field position, giving the ball back to their offense.
Big hit by the freshman Alex Carter, and Gabe Marks, the freshman, the punishment on the sideline, a few up downs for letting the ball go. 3rd down and 6. Toole steps into one, complete. First down for Washington State.
We're seeing a lot of these passes go to the right side of the offensive formation, you know, to Stanford's defensive left. So they see something that they like over there. And if you notice, every time they've had success, it's been a quick route. They need to stick with that. They need to keep marching the ball, be okay with 3-4 yards. I know Mike Leach loves to really air that ball out, but you sometimes just have to take what they give you.
Christoph Williamson with the catch for the Cougars. On first down, Toole, open receiver, sliding catch for Marquise Wilson.
Great job by Toole there. That was a long throw. We're throwing from the right hash all the way out to towards the left sideline. Stanford was in a cover 3. Toole saw that the flat defender got out leveraged, hit his man. Marcus Wilson, great play to keep the ball moving. 2nd and 2 here.
Winston to the right.
Stanford's lined up in those A-gaps again, threatening those A-gaps. Toole may see that they're attempting that and try to check out of whatever play was planned.
They send 3 and they get Toole again. And Gardner comes in and gets the sack. You only send a couple guys in and you get sacked. Doesn't bode well for the Cougars offensive line.
A-gap defender dropped back. Toole thought he was coming, but he wasn't. The linemen all thought he was coming. And we talked to Derek Mason. He said one of the things they want to do is disguise well. And what that's going to do is make Jeff Toole check out of the play, just like he did there. He thought he knew what was going on, but it was a disguise. Stanford dropped the people back who thought were going to be pressuring. Next thing you know, here comes Ben Gardner for the sack.
Third down, 7. Toole pressured. They got him again. The dam is leaking. Debniak, the senior linebacker, with the sack.
Big Alex Debniak on that play. Rich, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think that's about 5 different guys with a sack, and this was just all athleticism. He had a one-on-one situation, did a great job hand fighting, getting himself an edge, getting skinny around the corner, and leaning in for the sack. Great play.
Well, you get the sense that if Stanford wants to bring pressure, there's nothing Washington State can do.
Yeah, except get it out quickly, you know, and they're going to have to get to that. You can't sit back there and hold the football against this defensive front, especially when they've come out on fire like they have today.
Boland's punt down near the 32. Showdown Saturday rolls on with regional action. Cal at Utah, undefeated BCS Bowl contender number 7. Oregon State at Washington. Stay tuned for Pac-12 Star Power showcasing the likes of Cal's Keenan Allen and the return of Sean Mannon for Oregon State. Cal at Utah and number 7 Oregon State at Washington. Coming up next on Pac-12 Networks. First down and 10, and Stanford going to run a little reverse. Patterson looking for a block, gets one. Cuts it up and gets near the 45. Flipping deep into that playbook.
Little razzle-dazzle there. Last week they had 6 different ball carriers. Okay, and so today they're going to do much of the same. They want to give Stephon Taylor a breather every now and then. So give Jamal Rashad Patterson the football. Great job blocking by Ryan Hewitt there. You see some of the big men coming out, pulling. Those big linemen, they love that. When they get a chance to show, hey, I'm an athlete too, they love it.
End of the first quarter. Stanford and Washington State. Cardinal leading the Cougars 3-0. Pac-12 football is brought to you by MFS Investment Management. Chase Sapphire Preferred. Get 2 times the points on travel and dining with Chase Sapphire Preferred. And by Esurance. Car insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Picturesque setting of Stanford University. Cellini alongside Stanford alum Coy Wire, who is very happy to be back on campus. Stephon Taylor is going to get the handoff, and the Cougars ready for number 33 on that one. Numbers from the first 15 minutes. Minus 36 on the ground for Washington State.
Yeah, you're going to look at that right there. That is not an error. That minus sign, they've had about, how many sacks have they had here? 5 sacks on the day. And like we talked about, it might be 5 different players. We're going to get those numbers for you. But just a phenomenal job schematically by Derek Mason, finding ways to attack this offensive front of Washington State.
Rare loss of yardage on the carry by Taylor. Nunes now on 2nd and 13. It's over the middle, too tall, and almost intercepted by Simmons.
Simmons almost had a gift handed to him there, early Christmas present. Josh Nunes has had trouble with his completion percentage. They'd like to see him around 60%. He's only hitting 53% right now. And, you know, he had a lineman in his face, but, you know, you'd like to see him hit that receiver a step earlier. He had to throw. He's got to do a better job of recognizing the defensive scheme and being able to deliver just a hair second sooner.
The air on 3rd and 13. Nunes able to set up a little screen. Taylor surrounded by Cougars and dropped. This will be another loss on the play. 4th down coming up. Here comes Stanford's punt team.
Another great drive for the Washington State Cougars. I mean, that series of downs, again, it speaks of volumes for this defense. Okay, Mike Bresky has these guys playing at a high level. They have 54 tackles for loss on the year. That's 11th in the nation, Rich, and I tell you, that was another one right there to add to the tally.
Well, we have a moment. Let's go downstairs and check in with Erin, who has some very bright people with her.
That is right, Rich. I am here with two Stanford professors. Both won the Nobel Prize this year. Professor Brian Kobilka won it in chemistry, and Professor Alvin Roth in economics. And Professor Roth, I'll start with you. A lot of the athletes here, their goal is to make it onto the NFL. Was winning the Nobel Prize always a goal for you?
I don't think it was, but I have remembered in the last week that in the 7th or 8th grade, our English teacher, Miss Clark, asked us whether we'd rather be president or win the Nobel Prize, and I was in the Nobel Prize party.
That's very amazing. That's amazing. Well, now, Professor Kobilka, what does it mean to you to be a part of a university that excels and flourishes in academics as well as sports?
Well, Stanford is an amazing place, and I'm really proud to have been a member of the faculty here for the past 22 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm in great company, Rich. Back to you.
Hey, Aaron, snag a couple locks of hair. We need to save some of that DNA. A few years from now when they figure out how to use that stuff, we could use some of that smart.
I'm going to do that.
Tool scrambled for 6. Kawhi, I bet you had some amazing professors your time here at Stanford.
Yeah, I did. Nobel Prize winners, world-renowned experts in their respective areas of study. So truly a special place here on the farm.
Cool, quick little swing pass, and that's been Washington State's, I think, one of their best plays today. Just get it out to somebody in space quickly and let them try to move things forward. Williams, the talented freshman from Southern California, will move the stick for the Cougars.
And you talk about a pass that was actually thrown behind the line of scrimmage but gained 10 yards. And the best part of it was no one laid a hand on Jeff Toole. They're going to need to continue to work this quick passing game like you talked about. They have some guys who can make people miss on in the defensive secondary. So let's see if they stick to that method.
Washington State has moved the ball a little bit, but once they approach midfield, Stanford then just cranks up the pressure, pushes them back. It's happened throughout the entire first quarter. Now here come the Cardinal bringing a little more pressure. Simone with the catch is quickly wrestled to the turf. He gained nearly 5.
And again, you're going to see the same pressure coming up the middle, but look how quickly he gets this football out. He recognized the coverage. He saw that it was a pressure. He knew that he was going to have a bunch of one-on-ones out there in the secondary. He found the guy who was open. He took his first read, nailed it. Well, they'll take 6 yards on a play. That's a great job.
Toole on 2nd down and 4. Rare run for the Cougars, and that goes nowhere. They have not gotten anything done on the ground, and this isn't an offense that really cares about what they do running-wise, but sometimes with those large splits, they try to hit a quick one.
Yeah, and that's what can happen if you have a defense who thinks that you're just going to throw the ball 75% of the time, which Washington State does. We'll find some success. And it's a shame that DeAndre Caldwell was put out with a concussion a couple weeks ago because he was really beginning to get rolling, and that's just really a piece of this puzzle. That's one of the spices in this offensive soup that's just been missing is the run game.
3rd down and 3, another conversion for Washington State. Bartolone with another catch. So you look at Bartolone, a freshman, Mark's a freshman, 2 young guys getting extended playing time in this Cougar offense.
Yeah, Bartolone's a first-year starter. He had nine catches for 87 yards and a touchdown versus Oregon, 2 touchdowns last week at Cal. This is a young guy, and they're rebuilding. I think everyone knows that. You have some guys, though, who've proven to be consistent for the Cougars. He's one of them.
Plenty of time. Toole by a little more time, and now going to tuck it and get it up to the 42, back near the original line of scrimmage. Toole not really a threat to run, but can do some shifty things with his feet.
Yeah, he's not known as a runner, as we heard in the open there. He's known to really stick back there in the pocket. One of the things that Coach Leach was concerned about, especially against this defense. But great job there by Uswak Amanon coming up. I think that actually registered as another sack and another player getting a sack for the Stanford Cardinal. Great job in the secondary cover and giving Toole nowhere to go.
On 2nd down, complete, marked. spot will be good for 11. First down, Washington State.
That's a good confidence builder there for this offense. Moving the chains, getting the first down, crossing over the 50-yard line into Stanford territory for the first time today, Rich. So let's see if they can capitalize on that. Keep this drive rolling. They really need to, show that they can move the ball on this Stanford defense.
Just a 3-point game. Stanford is all our scoring. Mason again on the ground, and he is running literally into a wall.
I feel bad for the guy. There's nowhere to run. You see this defensive front. They run a stunt to the left, and each guy got an edge. They got an edge on the offensive front. They have those wide splits, so it's really essentially creating 5 one-on-one matchups. You don't want one-on-one matchups with guys like Henry Anderson, with guys like Trent Murphy up front. You want to be able to pass those guys off, use the guy sitting next to you. Well, those splits are so wide, there's no one there to pass them to.
Awesome. Tool with time goes down the middle, incomplete. Wilson was the intended target. Hoffpower knew he had a shot at interception. Marquise Wilson did a great job switching over from offense to defense in the middle of the play.
Yeah, and I think he may have heard some footsteps. This center field safety was sitting right there. He got a little bit of what we call alligator arms, but they play in two-man, right? So you had inside underneath leverage with Amon on there, forcing the throw, a high throw. That's exactly what the defense is designed to do. Great execution for the secondary of Stanford.
See what Derek Mason dials up here on 3rd down and long. Tool, plenty of time, gonna take a shot. Adjustment and the catch is made inside the Cardinal 10. Williams, the freshman, beautiful catch for the Cougars.
Absolutely phenomenal throw. He put this ball up on a silver platter, and it wasn't even his first read. He came back to his 3rd read. He saw that he was in man coverage. He said, you know what? I'm going to put this ball up, let a playmaker make a play. He's going against Alex Carter there, the true freshman. Great job by Jeff Toole, giving his receiver a chance to make a play. Phenomenal job by the receiver going up to get it.
Preview some big plays coming up. One freshman against another here in the Pac-12. 1st and goal for Washington State, and Toole doesn't like what he sees and signals for a timeout. Here's the big play Mike Leach and company wanted. Washington State with their deepest penetration of the afternoon. 3-0 lead for 17th ranked Stanford over Washington State. 8:26 to go in the first half. But the Cougars are in business. 1st and goal at the 6. They called a timeout. Let's see what Mike Leach dials up.
They've had trouble getting it into the end zone all year long. Only 43.5% touchdowns in the red zone this year.
Toole, plenty of time. And simply throws it out of bounds. And here comes a late flag. Trent Murphy.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Number 93, going below the knees on the quarterback. Half the distance, first down.
I have a hard time saying that that's a correct call, but everyone sees things differently. Trent Murphy just making a great effort play. He was actually coming, chasing Toole from the backside, so he couldn't see when that ball was released. Great hustle, great job. Cost them losing half the distance to the goal line. We'll see if Jeff Toole and Mike Leach can dial something up to punch this ball in. Be nice to score with 8:19 left here for the half.
3 yards in the additional down. 1st and goal for 3. Timeout, Washington State.
Let's take a look at this drive that Washington State has put together. You see quick releases, flat routes, slant routes, pitches, and then you start chipping away, and then next thing you know, you throw the deep one. You put it up there for your playmaker to make a play. Big strike down the football field, deep into Stanford territory. Now they're sitting here what is it, 3rd and goal now, Rich? It's
first
and
after
goal.
the penalty.
The penalty put them out, so they have four opportunities here. They're going to go for a touchdown. When you're in enemy territory like this, coming to Stanford, they're going to have to go and try to score touchdowns. They've struggled with this all year long, 43.5% in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. That puts them at 110th in the nation in that category. They have to score a touchdown right here. One of the main issues is that the field shortens up. It's less space for these defensive backs from Stanford to cover. So let's see if they can come up with a nice scheme here to strike in the red zone.
Already burned 2 timeouts, trying to get it right. 1st and goal at the 3. Toole floats it. Caught. The inbounds, yes, touchdown! Williams got the ball and got a foot down. Touchdown, Washington State.
Went right back to his big man, 6'2", 187-pound freshman, redshirt freshman from Pomona, California.
25, penalties decline, touchdown's good.
Let's take a look at this. This was a heck of a play. Looks a lot like the one we saw earlier to get him down in this position. Looked like he had control of the football, Rich. Did a great job of getting that left foot down. Excellent play, adjustment to the football, finding it. Had the sun in his eyes. That's a heck of a play.
Fernie on for the point after, and Washington State got a few dinks and dunks. They hit the big one, got it down there. It's the combination of Toole and the freshman Williams, and Washington State in front of Stanford now, 7-3. Washington State now in front, 7-3. Pretty play.
A brilliant play. Excellent execution. There's about a 3-yard halo back there in the corner of the end zone. This is a play that they practice. Often they'll put a trash can back there. You put it up and let that ball drop right in the hole, and that's exactly what they did. Phenomenal execution by the quarterback, Jeff Toole, Dominique Williams. Excellent play for Washington State. It's finally scoring in the red zone.
And then a touchdown, not a field goal. I don't know what Redmond Wright is doing back there, dancing around. Needs to get down and get that ball out to the 25. 8:13 to go. You get the sense Stanford offensively knows they can run Stephon Taylor. Ran him 28 times a week ago, career high 199 against Cal. Haven't seen a lot of carries by him this afternoon, trying some different things. Wouldn't be surprised now down 7-3 to go back to some more of those body blows.
Yeah, they know they can run the football, and they know they have to run the football, because when we saw them try to get a passing game going, defensive secondary for Washington State's playing well. They're being led back there by Deion Buchanan, like we talked about. Great player for them. Casey Locker, excellent free safety play from him.
Taylor on 1st down will get 4. Buchanan comes up and lays a lick. Boy, number 20 gets downhill fast.
He sure does. He's an aggressive football player, one of the most physical players that Stanford will see all year long. That's what Coach Shaw said to us yesterday. And he said, look, this guy is as physical as they come, but he's also as aggressive as they come too, and we think we can take advantage of that. So we'll see if Deion Buchanan gets tested here at some point today.
Wilkerson in the back. Taylor goes to the sideline, 2nd and 5. Nunes got a wide open receiver, and it's Patterson out in front. They won't catch him. Touchdown, Stanford. I'll see your big play and raise you one.
That's exactly what they needed to do. They needed to get back the momentum that they had in the beginning of the game there. A complete breakdown in coverage. You see Tyree Toomer there kind of looking around, didn't know what, he thought he had someone back over the top. It happens, but credit Josh Nunes for acknowledging that, noticing it right away, taking advantage of the big strike, big play, points on the board for Stanford.
Williamson pounds through the PAT. Nunes to the senior Patterson, who had a career-high 3 catches against Cal, and he gets the home run ball here.
You can see Nunes looking in the middle of the field, and he said, wait a minute, there's 2 guys where there's only supposed to be 1. I think that means someone's open. He sure did find him. Jamal Rashad Patterson coming up. He had 3 receptions last week for 19 yards. You know, this is a guy who's been stepping up for the Cardinal. They've been missing Ty Montgomery. So this is one of the guys who's really stepped up. The senior, 6'3", 208 pounds, doing a good job. He's one of the targets for Josh Nunes this year. I like this for Nunes. I like this for building his confidence, you know, being the guy. He's had so much pressure on him this year, but he's shown flashes of brilliance. Great big play right there. Big yardage in the pass game for him.
Cardinal quickly back on top, 10-7. Mason back deep, Washington State. Cougars come out with a return just past the 20-yard line.
Big hit there on the play. Stanford had a tough task today. The kickoff return team for Washington State Cougars are 20th in the nation right now. They've done a great job of coming up with schemes. Special teams coach Eric Russell has done a good job of attacking football teams in the special phase aspect of the game. So Stanford was concerned about that coming into the game today. Good job coverage. Anytime you can keep that returner near the 20-yard line, that's a great coverage play.
Gustav Williams, the freshman with the return. I think he'll be signing up for any more of that duty. That was a hard hit. First down, Washington State got a touchdown on their last possession. Combination to Williams is the one they had liked. They go back to what worked for them early in the game, and that's the freshman Gabe Marks.
Let's hope these guys are okay. Looks like they had a pretty tough collision there, big hit.
Still got a pile up with Marks, the freshman, who Mike Leach singled out as one of the players on this team who has really shown growth.
This was a big collision. That's something you hate to see. You kind of saw his body go limp there. It was pretty big impact. You know, hear so much about concussions nowadays, and you know, people talking about the helmets and you know what's causing this. I mean, but one of the factors here, Rich, is that these athletes at the collegiate professional level, they're getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're getting more explosive. So the impacts, I mean, it's straight physics. Big hit. Let's hope this young man's okay.
Thank you, Mike. Back to action here at Stanford. The good news is Gabe Marks, who was injured on that last play, got up and walked off the field under his own power. I tell you what, you see a young man get hit like that, sandwiched between 2 defenders, Coy, and go a little bit limp like that, it'll make you hold your breath.
Let's hope he's okay. You see, he walked off under his own power, but this happens more and more in the game. These guys get bigger, faster, stronger. The impacts are increasing as well. So let's hope that this young man, you see him there up on his own power, so that's good to see.
Washington State hanging tough in this one. It seems it just has a different feel, though. 10-7 Stanford lead. Washington State really works for everything they get in this game. And Stanford comes right back, and it's the long one and reclaims the lead quickly. 3rd down and 1 coming up. Toole back to the air. Going to be a first down for the Cougars. Washington State just chipping away. Bartolone, another freshman for Washington State. So what we're seeing here, Coy, is the freshmen becoming the main targets. Marquise Wilson has been fairly quiet.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with Stanford knowing exactly who the main man is that can beat them. So you have these younger guys step up. They're rising to the challenge. They're being called. Their numbers being called. And Brett Bartolone is doing a great job. You know, he's doing a great job today, stepping up on these short passes, making guys miss, getting some extra yardage, yards after contact, as they call it. Good job by the young guy stepping up today.
From the 38, Bartolone again, soft spot in the middle, get it to the 46.
You know, the one thing also that, you know, you talked about this game feeling so lopsided was because Jeff Toole was getting dominated early in this football game. All those sacks that were happening. You look at these offensive splits. You know, this time Stanford, you know, Toole did a great job getting it out because they had another guy coming straight up the heart of that offensive line. But I'll tell you, when this line has given Toole time, he's delivered. He's delivered on these short passes. They gained some rhythm. So they're marching the ball again here.
Winston the back, 2nd down and 3. Tool, survey. Try to run to the marker himself and get out of bounds. Gardner making things uncomfortable for the senior Jeff Toole.
You're going to see a replay here. Jeff Toole, it was a design roll. He had number 87 here in the flat. I just think it's one of those things. He's really uncomfortable when he gets outside that pocket. His completion percentage drops to 35%. When he's in the pocket, it's 65%. So he's not a guy who likes to roll out, doesn't like being out of his comfort zone, but good job having the cognizance of knowing where that first down marker is. Keep the chains moving. They're sneaking up on Stanford territory again.
11-4 lead on 1st down for Washington State. Toole throws a long pass across the field. Wilson hauls it in and will leap out of bounds. Another 1st down for Washington State.
You're going to watch one of the best here, best out routes that could possibly be run. I mean, that's a great job by just a true baller. This guy has showed up time and time again. But like you said, Rich, what impressed me most was the ability of Toole to get that pass. That was coming from the far hash, great execution, deep into moving into Stanford territory once again.
Approaching 5 minutes to go, 1st half. Toole running out of time. They got him again. Morrow, Debniak, both in on the action.
Let's watch this defensive line play. Again, they only brought 4, but they're running twists. They're running stunts inside, and this Washington State offensive line is having a tough time passing them off. They're having a tough time zone blocking. They're getting stuck on one guy. These guys are too athletic to try to hang with them one-on-one. So credit again to this defensive front for just straight getting after the quarterback today.
Boy, for Mike Leach, now you're off schedule. 2nd down and 16. It's tough to pick up a 1st down when you put yourself in this position.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get in the 3rd and manageable here.
Nice completion again on the sideline. Williams, boy, the freshman's having a coming out party. Just had 6 receptions on the season before this game.
I mean, this guy, watch this hand up. He uses hands. This is what you love to see, snagging the football out of the air. Great body control. He ran a great route. Got the DB off him, came back to the football, as good coaches will tell these receivers to do. Excellent job by the freshman. I'm really impressed by this guy. 6'2", 187 pounds, showing some great ability here today.
Got 13, 3rd and manageable. 3rd down and 3. Toole batted away, incomplete. Tried to get it to Simone. Cardinal were ready.
Simone's still limping out there. It was great coverage by Amanam. I mean, he was all over. Didn't see any flags on it. He did have that left hand around grab the shoulder. He got away with one there. His defensive backs, those are the ones you like.
Even the Stanford alum has to come clean.
Head on a swivel there, seeing if any refs caught it. He got away with one there. But look what's happening here. You got to love this attitude and mentality of Mike Leach going for it here on 4th and 4.
Toole on 4th down. Lets it go to the sideline. It's caught, but it's short. Bartolone got the ball. He's short of the 1st down. Cardinal take over on downs.
You're going to watch the receiver in the slot here. He's actually at the 1st down marker, but he's just doing what he's taught, come back to the football. But in certain situations, you got to try to risk not doing that to keep that 1st down marker. I applaud the efforts for them going for it there, but I'm not so sure I want to take in the points. They have a kicker who's been really bombing them this year. I mean, he's had long field goals all year long, so they could have come away with some points there. They went for a chance. Got to respect that, though, right?
Taylor with the carry for Stanford. Yeah, to your point, Fernie hit one from 60 against Eastern Washington early this year, so he's got a big leg, but Cougars try to pick it up on 4th down, get denied. And the big thing that jumped out on that last play defensively for Stanford, Chase Thomas, the senior, knew exactly where the marker was. Knew where the man was, knew where the marker was. Happy to let him catch it and be a yard short.
And hats off to Chase for taking coaching, but that's coaching right there. We have Hogan in the game here. This one, they're Tim Tebow Part 2, right? You know, that's what some of his teammates have been calling him.
Going to hand it off, and the end around goes nowhere for the Cardinal. Kelsey Young, the freshman from Massachusetts, got the handoff from Hogan, and Washington State able to string that one out.
This is a design play and a series of packages and plays that they have in for Kelsey Young. He's a hybrid speedster. He's really a playmaker. They try to get this guy the football. Excellent job by Washington State. Again, I mean, you're seeing these guys, they really do fly around. You see flashes of brilliance from this defense. It's a credit to Mike Bresky. As I said earlier, they have 54 tackles for losses on the season. That's good enough for 11th in the nation. They have 2 or 3 here today already. Mike
Bresky brings in a really big defensive package, and they did misfire on one, the long touchdown. Boone's on this one, goes over the middle and finds Toilolo, and they're going to rule it incomplete. Incomplete pass. So Nunes able to step into one.
Great job of firing this football in there. I mean, you can't put it any better. I don't know what the ref saw. It looked like he had possession, and the ground forced it to come out. Doesn't look like they're going to stop it. He must not have had control. We had a tough camera angle here to see that, but great pass by Nunes, putting that ball exactly where it needed to be, away from the defender. He was Cyrus Cohen on that play.
Klinsky's punt down by Stanford. 1:56 to go first half. Washington State gets the ball back, trailing by 3.
You know, it's interesting you say that. This football team plays pretty good football in the first half. Washington State in the first half has only been outscored 108 to 104 by opponents this year. The problem has been in the second half when they've been outscored 105 to 44. So first half play, these Cougars come out and they play well. Let's see if they can put together a whole football game, keep this game within striking distance down to the final minutes, and get a shot at taking out the Cardinal.
Mike Leach has really emphasized that with his kids, that you have to play the entire game and not worry about when things don't go your way. There's 60 minutes for a reason. Toole, left side, Bartoloni with another catch. How good Washington State feel if they could move the football and either go in tied or even with the lead against Stanford.
It would be huge for this group, but we talk about this team being so young. Yeah, you guys have 14 players with their first career start this year. They've played 15 freshmen. 9 true freshmen have appeared in games this year. I mean, this is a young football team. This will be huge for their confidence to be able to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow with the 17th ranked Cardinal.
Wilson with the catch into Stanford territory. Mike Leach, a very good fit for Washington State. He's a fun guy to visit with. He has a different take on things.
He's sure a smart guy, too. Has his Juris Doctorate. I mean, this guy's a masterful mind. There's a reason why he's had so much success over the years in creating these offensive schemes and plans that just picks apart defenses. It's just a matter of time before he's doing the same here.
It'll be a hold against Washington State.
Holding, number 69, penalties declined. Down to be 2.
Jake Rogers. Stick around for the Dr. Pepper halftime report. Mike Yam, Rick Neuheisel, Jeremy Bloom, Curtis Conway back in the Pac-12 studios. CLA, ASU in a shootout. And USC, how about that update from Mike? Trojans self-destructing down in Tucson. Toole, completion, Williams, out of bounds, 39.
This offense right now is doing a great job, and Toole taking what they're giving you. He's looking down the field, but he's seeing that he's not trying to force anything. He's taking that 3-yard pass that all of a sudden turns into a 5-6-yard gain. So excellent performance by Toole.
You know, they took some of those big shots from Stanford early, and they hung in there. And now you get the sense Washington State, a little bit of a rhythm and some confidence. Toole throws in the direction of 2 receivers. Not sure if he wanted to get it to Simone or Christoph Williams. 2 Cougars out there. It falls incomplete.
You know, this defensive line from Stanford came out on fire. They came out with 5 sacks in the first quarter. but we talked about the tempo and the speed. This offense spreads you out. They throw those passes, and then guess what? You have to run and chase the football. You're seeing a lot of guys from Stanford with their hands on their hips right now.
4th and 6. Cougars denied on their last 4th down attempt. Toole steps up. Going to try to do it himself, gets out of the tackle, and picks up the first down. Just fast enough.
He just escaped the grasp there of Trent Murphy. Great job by Murphy hustling to get to that football, but the athleticism of Toole, knowing where the first down sticks are, selling out, sees those defensive backs beating in on him. Great job of going after that first down, keeping the chains moving.
Get it from the 32. Wilson. Vance get down near the 25. Clock moving. 15, 14. Leach telling him to spike it. And he does that. Clock goes all the way down to 8 seconds to go first half.
That was a freshman mistake there by Bartolone. He's had a great game, but it's one of those things where you know coach just wants to spike it. Don't go get lined up where you're supposed to be. Just get your foot on the line and let the quarterback spike the ball. Extra 10 seconds ran off the clock there. They would have had about 18 seconds left. Now they're looking at 1, maybe 2 plays left.
One timeout for Washington State. Remember, they had to burn 2 when they had it 1st and goal at the 6, and there was a personal foul against Stanford. They had another 1st and goal at the 3, had to burn another timeout, so really wasted 2 of them.
Yeah, that's right. And they're going to catch Stanford here. This is where you want to snap the football. Well, looks like the referee helped Stanford on that one. Stanford was mass confusion trying to get guys on and off the football field.
Mike Leach and Washington State call their 3rd timeout, and I'm not actually sure that's what Coach Leach wanted. Time for the Coors Light freeze cam. And we'll go back to our biggest play of the afternoon. Nunes to Patterson.
You had a safety blitz. You had the safety who was initially covering Patterson come on the blitz, but the guy who was supposed to replace him didn't replace him. Again, great job on Nunes seeing that something was up, finding the guy who was left wide open. Big play, big touchdown for the Cardinals.
The play off our Coors Light freeze cam gets us to where we are right now, 10-7 Stanford.
One of 2 things they could do. They can go for a shot, take 2 shots and score, or they can take a nice chunky yards and set up a field goal.
And Toole's going to go over the middle and complete it inside the 10. Washington State did not call the timeout. They do have 1 left, and they'll call it right here with 2 seconds to go as Williams makes the catch. So the original call before was not for Washington State. Leach was out there. That was Stanford's timeout, so the Cougars had 1 more, and that'll save them right here with 2 seconds to go to come on, try to tie this at 10.
You're going to see this last pass. It was a deep dig route. They actually ran a clear out by the slot receiver, bring that number 1 receiver on underneath on a dig. There was no underneath defenders. Great job by Toole, great execution. Good job by the offensive line, giving him time to throw that football. Look, when this guy has time, he can deliver the rock.
Fernie on for the field goal attempt. It's 10 for 13 on the year. Washington State trying to nail down their first conference victory of the season here at number 17 Stanford, trying to tie it up at the intermission. Big confidence boost for the Cougars. Snaps down, the kick is good. Well, Mike Leach's team had taken the big blows from Stanford, and with 2 quarters in the books, we're tied at 10.
You see these Washington State Cougars running off. There's some excitement. There's some energy, right? They're coming off this bye week. They wanted to come here and show that they can play ball. You got Stanford here, you know, they have a challenge on their hands.
David Shaw having a word with the officials, talking about that. I'm fairly certain Stanford may have been under the impression that they didn't want that timeout, thinking that Washington State didn't have one. Coach Shaw not thrilled with the explanation.
Yeah, there was mass confusion. They had the whole defense running off the field, whole defense running on.
Here's Aaron.
Coach, there seems to be some confusion with the refs. What's going on?
Well, I thought they were out of timeouts. That's what I heard on my sideline. That's what they told me, that they were out of timeouts. I didn't know they had one more. It was just a miscommunication. Bottom line, though, we got to play better. We got no offensive rhythm right now. Defense is playing well, but we're leaving out there too long.
Why do you think your defense is struggling against this Washington State pass?
I know they're going to throw the ball a lot. The bottom line is we got to control the clock on offense. We're not getting enough first downs. We're not moving the ball.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Guys.
Thank you, Aaron. I imagine we will see a steady diet of body blows in the second half. Stanford's gone a little deep in the playbook. They go back to the traditional O in the second half. Halftime here on the farm. Getting ready for the start of the third quarter here at Stanford. 17th ranked Cardinal and a tight one. Washington State tied at 10. Moments ago, Aaron Coscarelli caught up with Cougar head coach Mike Leach.
Coach, why is your offense having so much success against the Stanford defense?
Well, if we can protect, we have success. I think we're just making routine plays, not trying to make too much happen. Over time, settled in. We got a ton of young guys out there, and they've gotten better. But protection's our big thing.
Well, you talk about protection, 6 sacks in the first quarter. What does your O-line need to do to give Jeff Toole more time and protect them?
Yeah, keep them out. If they'll stop their feet, it'll be a start.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck, guys.
And there you have it. Rich Cellini, Coy Wire upstairs. I told you he has a little different take on things. Looking at the numbers, Toole was very good in the first half, passing-wise. But when you look at what Stanford didn't get done, they didn't convert a third down.
Yeah, and they've been having troubles with this. That was a main concern for Pep Hamilton. We talked to him yesterday. They need to get better at converting on third down. But here's the main issue I have, okay? They only have 38 yards rushing. We talked about them body blows and having to establish a run game, not have to use the pass. They have only 38 yards on the ground.
Game snapshot brought to you by Sony. So the question I have for you is, the big point made in the meetings with Stanford was we need to use body blows to soften them up for the third quarter. Have they done enough of that?
They haven't. And a big part of that, though, Rich, is that Washington State is bringing an extra safety down into the box because they know Stanford is going to try to run the football. They bring that safety down.
Going to bring it out. Kelsey Young find a little room. And hit and stop. Damon Buchanan down here playing in front of the home folks. Hit big time from the safety spot. Also makes one on special teams.
You have a guy that sells out on special teams, too. I mean, that's a true team player. This guy is a phenomenal athlete. He's humble enough to get out there in all phases of the game. He's not too good for the special teams phase of the game. Let's see if News can get rolling. We see Nunes here with 74 yards. You take away that 171-yarder, they have 4 yards passing in the first half.
Taylor, 6 carries for 13 yards in the first half. This coming off a career 189-yard day against Cal. Stephon Taylor going to get the carry over the left side. Cougars are ready. Taylor able to muscle his way for 3.
I'm going to give credit here to Mike Bresky and the defensive coordinator for getting these guys ready in a bye week to know exactly what they're up against when it comes to Stanford. They know this offensive scheme. You can tell they know exactly what they're doing, where they need to be. You saw Gauta there. I mean, he's having a heck of a day. He's a first-year starter. He has 4.5 tackles for a loss this year. He's been a major contributor for them as a first-year starter in the interior for Washington State.
2nd and 7. Nunes. Over the middle, catch by Ertz, and Stanford's leading receiver reels one in. First down for the Cardinal. Well, he took a blast.
He took a blast, but he also took the ball out of the air. I mean, this could have easily been an interception, but watch this guy go up and snag this football. I mean, he knows a guy's going to come. For all he knew, that guy was going to try to lay him out. He had no fear, no hesitation. He went up, made a phenomenal catch. This guy is going to play on Sundays for a long time.
Ertz, first reception of the afternoon. Moves it to the 45. Taylor pounds the middle for a couple.
Try to run a power play right up the middle. Again, a great job by the interior line of the Washington State Cougars, and their linebackers are fitting it up. It's all about gap fits. He did a great job.
2nd down and 7. Taylor again. Another body blow for 1. A little quicker pace on offense for Stanford to start the second half.
Yeah, it looked like they're trying to, give Washington State a taste of their own medicine. But the problem is here they find themselves in a 3rd and 6. Okay, and they're the best in the Pac-12 at getting 3rd and manageables. They're averaging 5.95 yards on 3rd down. Problem is they're dead last at converting on that down distance, only 33% of the time.
Nunes on 3rd and 6 with time. Throws, open receiver, Terrell into the open field, cutting back, chased down from behind, not until he gets across the 30. Big 3rd down play for Stanford.
Excellent job by Nunes being patient in the pocket. He didn't have anywhere to go early in the down, but he saw that DeMonte Horton had fallen on the ground. Drew Terrell did a great job of getting open, coming back to the football. This guy, every year, someone has stepped up at the wide receiver position. He's been the guy this year for Stanford. He's stepped up every time his number is called. He's really producing. Coaches love the guy.
1st down now at the Cougar 28. Shift, 2 tight ends now to the right, unbalanced. Taylor will go that way and drill his way across the 25. Talk about athletic ability. Stephon Taylor cut down and almost supermaning his way for an extra 3 yards.
You see the big man David Yankee coming around there, and a guy who's just been a staple for this offensive line. You see the defender come and cut him, but like you said, Stephon Taylor takes a gain that should have been for nothing and gets 4 yards out of it.
Had the pleasure to visit with him in the offices yesterday. Very polite, well-spoken, and has greater interest than just football. You get the sense he's going to do big things.
Absolutely. This guy.
2nd and 7, incomplete. Buchanan almost had the pick. As Nunes overshot 6'6" Zach Ertz.
You see Nunes come back last minute to Ertz and just simply overthrows him. I don't know if he had a hand up in the passing lane, but that ball was well overthrown. Got away with one there because Buchanan was sitting back there. I mean, this guy's a ball hawk. We talked about how talented he is. He has 4 interceptions on the year. That's tied for 2nd in the Pac-12. He really is a ball hawk, but also will come up and hit you.
4 wides on 3rd and 7. Nunes, time, incomplete. Flag comes down. Ertz was out there. He was jostling between he and Anthony Carpenter. Penalty against Washington State. 1st down for Stanford.
That's the redshirt junior Anthony Carpenter. He had 7 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss last week. And you see there, great job by Ertz, just big bodying him, deboing him out of position there. But the ball was in the air and he had contact past 5 yards. Refs are going to call that every time.
And Stanford refers to it. The fat package is in. Taylor pounds the left side.
You're going to see another power play. You got the fullback and the offside guard pulling up through. Looked like big Logan Mays was in there on that tackle. Great individual performances, guys, in this run game. Someone has to win. Someone has to shed a block. Someone has to win their gap. And Washington State's doing a great job of holding a running offense to minimal yards here in this football game.
2nd and 8 at the 13. Nunes surveying, now going to run and have a little bit of room. Dive to safety, looks to be spotted a yard short. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
Great job by Nunes staying alive. He looked like he wanted to throw it, but you know what? Pep Hamilton talked about he has to be better at managing bad plays. Just take what you can get, be okay to live to fight another down, don't force anything, don't make any bad decisions, and there's an example of Nunes doing that right there.
Lamont right in. 3rd down and 2 at the 7.
Got Hogan in the game at quarterback. Nunes is off the field.
And Hogan gonna run a little option, turn it up, and he'll get a 1st down for Stanford. 1st down and goal coming up for the Cardinal.
I love that play call right there. 3rd and short. You bring in a guy who's a double threat. Put the decision in his hands. He sees that he has the opportunity to get that 1 or 2 yards. Does a great job leaning forward to get it. Nunes back in the game now, but that's the type of thing where they have special packages. The guy's proven in practice that he can do it. They trust him to do so.
Taylor cut down at the 1.
Now we're starting to see those body blows. I mean, you love the heart and tenacity of this guy. Look at this guy reaching for the end zone like he believes he's in it already. I mean, he just knew he was getting there. I love this guy. You talked about his different interests. I mean, he's done everything he can do to better himself. He talked about taking yoga in the offseason. You know, this guy is never content. He said his main motivation is fear of failure. He doesn't want to let his teammates down. It shows with efforts like that.
Taylor over the left side. Didn't get it. 3rd and goal.
This down here at this point in the field, it's all about leverage. Washington State did a good job of getting up under the pads, the lower pad level, lower man wins in these situations. Let's see what Stanford's going to do if they're going to be stout and try to power their way in here.
And a key point in the game right now, 3rd quarter, they send Hogan back in on 3rd down and goal. Turn, handoff, over and in. Ryan Hewitt from the fullback spot.
We're going to watch the replay here. That's big Ryan Hewitt, number 85, 6'4", 248 pounds. I love to see this guy get in the end zone. He's a guy who's kind of, been quiet of late. Coach John Gruden kind of outed him a bit with that successful play he used to have with that spider 3-wide banana. So they don't get to run it anymore. Teams are waiting for it. But yesterday, Coach Pep Hamilton said, you know what, I need to do a better job of finding ways to get this guy the football because he's a heck of a player. The redshirt junior from Denver, Colorado, right there, putting 6 on the board for his team. I know his teammates like he's a team favorite in that locker room.
Hewitt's 1st touchdown of the season. Jordan Williamson. Klinsky to hold it. Miller will snap it. 8:04 to go, 3rd quarter. Stanford with a powerful drive to take the lead. 17-10 over Washington State. Ryan Hewitt getting a breather after scoring the touchdown to give number 17 Stanford a 17-10 lead over Washington State. That drive from Stanford, probably what we expected at the start of the game.
Yeah, they got back to Stanford football, methodically moving the football down the field with the run game. Those body blows like we talked about earlier.
Williamson will send it through the back of the end zone, and we'll send it down to Aaron Coscarelli.
Well, guys, I am here with Stanford great Glenn Milburn, who is down here celebrating the 20th anniversary of your 1992 team. They went 10-3 and finished 9th in the nation. So what's the best part about coming back, reuniting with some of your old teammates, and being back on campus?
Well, first of all, it's a great campus, but second of all, to see all of the guys after 20 years, we've kept in contact with some of the guys, but to see all of these guys come back and really see on the video board and watch all the memories of a team that really exceeded expectations was really impressive. We also had a pretty good coach in the making back then with David Shaw.
And Glenn, you spent obviously a lot of time in the NFL, but what did you love the most about playing for Stanford?
well, really, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about a salary cap or a contract. It was about winning the Pac-10 championship. And the culmination for my career at Stanford was winning and sharing that Pac-10 championship in 1992.
Awesome. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Aaron. He was a great one.
He sure was. 9 seasons in the NFL, an All-America running back. Truly one of the greats here coming from Stanford.
Cougars' first offensive possession of the second half. Toole throws it in the direction of Wilson, incomplete. Milburn was pretty good down there visiting. We've got another good one too. We'll call him Mr. Versatility. Coy Wire upstairs in the booth with us. With the team in rushing in 98 and in tackles in 2000. Got that note since 96. Throw a pass, you rush for a pass, you intercept a pass, you sack somebody, and then you turn around and play 9 years in the NFL yourself.
Oh my, I'm blushing up here. You guys killing me with this, but I was part of some good teams. Coach Tyrone Willingham had us ready to play every week. It was a great experience here in the Pac-12.
Toole on third down throws it a little bit wide of his intended target, Williams. Aaron talks about, to Milburn about what the best part of being on campus was. We got the opportunity to visit with coaches and go upstairs as well yesterday and check in with everybody. What's the best part for you to be back on the field?
Well, just the energy that's here. I mean, the people that you meet are phenomenal. You saw a guy like Glenn Milburn talk. He was an NFL great, but just wants to come back and give back because the place is so special. You talk about the Nobel Prize winners that we had that Aaron interviewed earlier, and it's just truly unmatched, unparalleled in the nation. I mean, this is a special place. These young men and these coaches truly have a special opportunity here on the farm.
One of the most unique places in the world.
Coors Light says don't get flagged for breaking the law. It's a cold, hard fact. 21 means 21. So keep yourself and your friends in the game.
Back at Stanford, 17-10 lead for the Cardinal over the Cougars. Rich Cellini, Coy Wire, Aaron Coscarelli. Second possession of the second half for Stanford. And they're going to go back to the front of the playbook, and that means a steady dose of number 33, Stephon Taylor.
Yeah, and they come right back to the power. You had Lee Ward back there in the backfield this time, and of course, their big guard pulling around there. I mean, this is what they do. This is who they are. This is their DNA. Washington State, again, credit to them for keeping them at bay in that first half. But the last drive, Stanford really did march that football down. It got a little bit back to what they're used to doing, marching the football with the run game. Unbalanced line here, Rich.
Kyle Murphy comes in, sporting number 96. He'll be on the unbalanced part to the left. And Taylor will go that way and find a little bit of room. Job by the Cougars to get in there. Travis Long, the senior we talked about in the open, talked about people need to get off blocks and make a play. 89 does just that.
Yeah, this guy is truly, he's going to play on Sundays. He does all the right things. He's second team all Pac-12 last year, tied for 8th in the nation with 7.5 sacks right now. This is a team leader. He's really the heartbeat of that defense at Washington State.
Forces Stanford to a 3rd and 5. Nunes. Diving catch made by Terrell. First down, Stanford.
Great play, great execution. You saw Toilolo come up and sit it down. It was a nice high-low concept. Toilolo set it down, and then you had the wide receiver coming in behind them, Drew Terrell, going down to make a great catch. You like to see Nunes get that ball up, but great scheme. Pep Hamilton saw something there. He wants to start attacking with high lows here in the middle of this Cougar defense.
You touched on it earlier. Terrell made a catch. The coaches said, you know what, here's a guy who's a senior. Every time he gets an opportunity, he grabs it. He's a player that has tremendous respect from everybody on the team. So when there's a play that has to be made that's near him, he gets it done.
Yeah, he's earned credibility through his performance. He's done it time and time again in practice. He's one of those guys that the coaches just grow to love and grow to find ways to get him opportunities.
Well, that one falls under the category, the delay of game, of not managing things properly.
Yeah, and if that play had happened, it was going to be ugly. You had two guards pulling, and they ran smack dab into each other. So they're kind of lucky that happened. That could have been really, really bad, even worse than a delay of game penalty. Stanford needs to clean things up a bit. You know, they only had 38 yards rushing in the first half. Like you say, take away that 71-yard touchdown, they only had 4 yards passing. They need to clean things up, do things the right way, the Stanford way, no mistakes, get back to doing what they do.
This on 1st and 15. Getting something done with his feet, ball pops out and he gets it back. Talk about sometimes bounces go your way, falling down, and that oblong ball bounces right back into your arms.
This is exactly the type of thing Pep Hamilton was concerned about. This is where an area where they need to improve. Josh Nunes needs to learn to manage bad plays. That was a bad play. Play was broken down. Scramble, get what you can get, but don't try to go, hurdling people to get extra yards. Just get down, slide, keep yourself safe, protect the football.
You got 6, 2nd and 9. Plenty of time. Deep down the middle, nobody home, incomplete. Buchanan, the closest player to it, pounding the turf, thinking that now he should have 2 picks today. He doesn't have any. At the conclusion of tonight's football tripleheader, be sure to catch all the day's highlights on the State Farm post-game report. Recap this game and all the other big contests around the Pac-12 on a Showdown Saturday. State Farm post-game report tonight after the late game on Pac-12 Networks.
Big third down, it's third and long. You're gonna have to get some sort of, look for deep in-breaking routes. Nunes has had trouble hitting out routes. Look for some sort of deep dig concept across the middle.
3rd and 9. Nunes hit as he throws, that one will flutter incomplete. Husky dials up the perfect play, long in there, and he pounded on Nunes. Cardinal will have to punt.
That's the playmaker, Travis Long. He started every game of his career, 43 straight starts. You know, this guy, he just gets after it. I mean, he's just consistent. He's persistent. He does not go away. He will not stop coming until that final bell rings. He got up in there, forced a bad throw. Nunes had a player wide open, went for Long. Being the player he is, that was a completion in the first down.
Husky's punt. Backpedaling, Bartoloni makes the first Cardinal miss. And is escorted out of bounds at the 15. Timeout at Stanford Stadium, 3:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Cougar football when we come back. Today's Pac-12 top performers from the early games brought to you by Bank of the West. Jonathan Franklin leads UCLA to a 2-point victory over Arizona State. Kenyon Barner and Oregon have no trouble with Colorado. And Marquise Lee, a Pac-12 record, 345 receiving yards in a 3-point loss at Arizona. Tua throws that one incomplete on 1st down. And things are going to get confusing, to say the least. UCLA and USC and Arizona State, all with 2 in the loss column.
You know, I look at that, and Arizona State was a team that really stood out to me, but now, you know, they're coming off 2 losses here. UCLA, great job of Jonathan Franklin running the football against that Arizona State defense like that. That's impressive. And Arizona, I mean, I've been high on that team all year long, so that they pulled off the upset at USC isn't that big of a surprise to me.
Toole sets a tackler and is going to run for a 1st down. The senior gets up and high-fives one of his linemen. Just almost read his mind right there, thinking, I'm tired of taking a blow. I'm going to take off and get out of here.
Yes, a hint to the wise is sufficient. He's been hinted upon many times early in this game. So if he's got that internal clock going, 1,000, 1,002, if there's nothing there, he's taking off running. He's done that several times to keep drives alive. Picks up another 1st down there, Rich.
Your point's well made that it's not a 3 or 4 second clock for him back there. They tried that earlier. They don't have it.
That's right.
It's about 2 counts and tuck it and do something with it. Cougars still on the minus in the rush yards. Those do include sack yards. Toole trying to set up a little screen. Nobody there. And he'll use his wheels again and step out of bounds near the 35.
Looks like they had a little bit of a trick play, set up there. You're going to see two guys here at the bottom of the screen. Looked like they were coming off in a rush, but Scove actually dropped off. They saw the throwback attempt there. There was actually two guys covering the throwback. Toole, another great job, making a smart play, talking about taking what could be a bad play and getting some positive yards out of it, 5 of them.
He's up second down, clock moving, 2.5 minutes to go, third quarter, 7-point game. Left. Maloney. It's blocked and twists his way near the 45. It's Brown out there.
Bartolone's having one heck of a football game. They've had success with this from the beginning of the game, and they're just going to stick with it. That's smart football. Take what the defense gives to you. You look at Toole's first half numbers. He was 27 of 34. That's 80% passing, and here he is again making smart decisions for his football team, moving the chains.
Washington State try to run. Mason, look at a couple.
Let's watch their offensive line on this football play here. You see they moved the running back over because that was a check by Toole. It's something that he said he's felt more comfortable with, but great job of Stanford's defensive line, winning some one-on-one battles. Good job Trent Murphy making a great tackle there. But Toole has talked about how he's got a comfortability with checking into offenses now, depending on what the defense is showing.
Second and 7, Toole over the middle, incomplete, batted down. Tried to get it to Ratliff. Lebanon was in there, came over and put the volleyball spike on it.
Yeah, this guy's a player. He actually switched to running back, switched from running back to nickel back in 2011. I'm really impressed with this guy. He's a redshirt junior out of Fremont, California. He had 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass breakup last week, 2 pass breakups already here today in this game. This guy is going to be a phenomenal player. I love what he can do in the slot position.
Cougars 7 for 13 on third downs. Third and 7, Toole incomplete. Somebody up front got a hand on it.
You can see Stanford getting some of their energy and emotion back. They were playing a little bit flat, and it may have just been a little bit of exhaustion there in the first half. This tempo, the Washington State offense spreading you out, passing on every down, a lot of stopping, a lot of starting for the linebackers, but they're coming out with some good energy and enthusiasm now. That was a big stop. They needed that for their confidence.
Boland gets the snap. There's pressure again. This one will be surrounded by the Cougars and down at the 22. Tomorrow night, recap all the weekend's Pac-12 football action with Football Rewind presented by 5 Hour Energy. Scores and highlights from around the Pac-12 as well as from around the country. That's Football Rewind presented by 5 Hour Energy tomorrow night at 9 right here on Pac-12 Networks.
Oh, Coach Neuheisel will be up there in the studio. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to watch Coach Neuheisel, you have to tune in. The guy is hilarious, and oh, by the way, he knows a thing or two about football. It's really good to catch up on what happened in the prior day's games. It's an excellent show, Football Rewind.
Stanford starts from the 23. They have their change-up package in there with Hogan handing off to Young. A little read on that one, gets some 7. Third quarter as this one beginning to wind down. Third quarter has not been good to Washington State this year.
Yeah, in the second half in general, we talked about how in the first half, they've only been outscored 108-104, but the second half comes around, all of a sudden, you're talking about being outscored 105-44. So, let's see if they can have worked on some things in the bye week.
Cal Murphy, wearing 96, motions to the left, and Hogan, got a pump fake, and keep it and scurry out of bounds. He'll get a first down.
This is why they love to have this guy in the football game. He outruns a defensive back right there and knows where the first down, has enough awareness to know where the first down is. It looked like a pass play, but believe it or not, they just love that he has the ability to make it a run play in an instant, and that's exactly what he did. He's such a good athlete. They love what this guy's potential is for this offense. It's going to provide a different look that Stanford teams usually don't show.
And a lot more to think about on the defensive side as well.
Yep, that's right.
End of the third quarter. The start of the fourth quarter. Campus still bustling. Coy Wire, see those people with backpacks on, head to the library on a Saturday afternoon. That's how you win a Nobel Prize.
Well, Washington State's giving Stanford everything they can handle to try to win a football game today. This Cougars came to play. I love what Coach Leach is doing over there. We'll talk about some of the things he's done to take this program and get it moving in the right direction.
On first down, they keep the change-up package in, and Hogan hands off to Kelsey Young. So a pair of freshmen moving the ball for Stanford. Here's Aaron Coscarelli.
Well, guys, the start of the season has been the start of using these as the new playbooks. That's right. Coach Shaw has said that using iPads has been so amazing for his team. He says it's more cost-effective, environmentally friendly, and just an all-around easier way to communicate with his team. He says he could make a change in 15 minutes, upload it, and the entire team has it. Guys.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, that was a very interesting conversation with Coach about being on the front end of all that technology. Right in as the back. Hogan stays in as the quarterback on second down and short. And Wright going to churn things forward. And we joked with him that Coach Shaw is at the forefront of using an iPad to deliver information to his team, and that type of information he's delivering is a 1950 football playbook.
It's old school. It's combining old school Rocky with new school science. It's an interesting dichotomy to see on the football field and in a football program.
I thought was interesting is I brought up the point, well, what if somebody loses an iPad? What if an opponent gets an iPad in their hands? He says, the technology, if that iPad is out of the area, as Hogan is going to get hit and sacked by Washington State, if it leaves the vicinity of where it should be, it gets erased. If the iPad is not touched or activated within 48 hours, all the information gets erased.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
The times have changed. The evolution of the game. This is a great job of getting pressure on the quarterback here in a sack. I mean, phenomenal job on the back end, the secondary. Those guys had it locked down, nowhere for Nunes to throw the football. You see Cyrus Cohen there. Did a great job of getting home. This Washington State Cougars defense is giving Stanford all they can handle.
Second down and 17. Vaughn Taylor with an angry run back up to the 45. Key point in the game right now, 13 minutes to go, 17-10 lead for Stanford. If you're the Cardinal, you want to stretch it out to a two-score game. If you're Washington State defense, you're thinking, if we can get a stop here, our offense the ball back, maybe we can tie this thing up again, and then you get down to these points. You look, Stanford's ranked number 17. Washington State has not won a conference game, but as the game gets shorter, it becomes anybody's ball game if it's tight.
The scores of Washington State's football games have been getting closer and closer as the season progresses. This young football team is steadily getting better each and every week.
3rd and 13. Nunes escapes. He's going to have to try to run. It'll be caught and dropped. Sua, the sophomore linebacker. Chester Sua came up and dropped him. Cardinal will have to punt it away.
Again, great job. They brought 5 men on the rush there. An awesome individual effort to come off the edge to force Nunes to pull the ball down and run. And like you said, a great form tackle, open field, forcing the punt. Washington State and Jeff Toole are going to get this ball back and get the opportunity to march down the field and tie this football game.
Linsky's punt is fair caught by Bartolone. Cougar football when we come back. 11:45 to go at Stanford. leading Washington State 17-10. It's getting to a dangerous point in the game if you're Stanford. We talked in the open that everything is out in front for the Cardinal. This could turn out to be another very special season if they win out. They could end up in another BCS bowl game because they have the two teams ahead of them in the standings, Oregon and Oregon State out in front, but they have to take care of business. And Toole escapes pressure and then just throws it. A fastball right by the ear of Winston.
Again, great job avoiding the sack, though. Toole had a phenomenal first half. He got beat up, he got tested, he got pounded upon, but he just hung in there. I'm loving the toughness and tenacity. You know, a lot of that's trickling down from Coach Mike Leach. They had a bye week. Coach Leach wasn't happy about the way his team was practicing. Well, what did he do? He put them in the sand pit. He gave them extra sand pit after practices. He made the receivers and the quarterbacks throw and catch a few hundred extra footballs in that bye week. Well, guess what? They came out and had stellar practices from then on out, and it's showing up here today on the football field. That's great coaching, knowing how to get the attention of your football team and get them moving in the right direction. Deion Buchanan said that Coach Leach has a great way of getting to you. You know, he'll pick you up and get you to work just the way he wants you to work. One way or another, he's going to find a way to get out of you what you're capable of.
You mentioned the sand pit. They've also done everything competitive now in practice, even if it's down to sumo wrestling, where people have to pick and choose who they think is going to win a little sumo wrestling match. And Washington State hanging tough. Big third down. 3rd and 5. Flag.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Gunnar Eklund, the walk-on, flinches.
Stanford was showing pressure there, but they ended up dropping some linebackers back in coverage where they were only going to rush 3. Let's see if they stick to that philosophy or if they actually do bring some heat on this one to confuse Toole.
Turn 3rd and 5 into 3rd and 10. 4-man rush. Toole intercepted, and this is going to be 6 for the Cardinal. Ed Reynolds with the pick 6.
Looked like they were in a form of robber coverage. That means everyone has outside leverage. You have a shallow rover and a deep middle player. That was Reynolds on that play. He did a great job of reading the eyes and coming up with a pick 6. I think that's his second big interception return on the season. I know he's had a couple others too. This guy's a ball hawk, knows how to find it.
4th interception on the year. This is a big one. With 10:43 to go, Stanford now leads 24-10. Pac-12 football is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by Dr. Pepper. Win up to $100,000 in tuition by telling us your story at drpepper.com. No purchase necessary, always one of a kind. Sun setting on campus, and the Cardinal faithful who have stuck around for this one see Reynolds with the pick 6, and some of them breathing a little sigh of relief, and he read that one all the way. He knew where that one was coming. Williams going to take a knee. What do you see, Coy?
This is a rover coverage. You're going to see a low hole player and a high hole player. Both of them are looking at Toole, and they're seeing where he's going to go with this football. And as you watch the play run, watch him just read the quarterback's eyes. All the DBs have outside leverage, force everything back into the middle of the field, funnel everything back in. That's exactly what happened. That's a defense run to perfection. I think you're going to see Jeff Toole use that as inspiration to come out. He's been doing phenomenally all game long. That was his first hiccup of the game that I saw. I mean, this guy has been playing well. Let's see if he can march the football down and keep this game close.
Still a long way to go with 10:43. Toole under pressure. Floats one out, and it's caught. Lentz with his first reception of the afternoon. Check that, that's Bobby Ratliff, 82.
Great job of hanging in there. I mean, that ball was a tough ball to catch. He had a guy draped all over his back. I was surprised there wasn't a pass interference. It looked like a pretty tight coverage. Good job picking up some big yards there on first down.
Two receivers each side. Clock moving, approaching 10 minutes to go in the game. Toole feels the pressure. It's been effective running today. He'll pick up 14 more yards. Take your Pac-12 Network action wherever you go with the newly released iPhone app, free download on the App Store. You know, we take it all the way to Atlanta, buddy. Pac-12 Now, also available for iPads and web browsers, gives you 24/7 access to stream all Pac-12 Network channels, plus tons of exclusive video clips featuring your favorite school. Don't miss any of the action wherever you are. Get the new Pac-12 Now, the iPhone today. Whole new era of following teams in Pac-12, isn't it? Go on and click. It's all right at your fingertips. Williams, the intended target, incomplete. Ball hit the ground.
That one a little low, hit the dirt, but I'm really impressed by this Washington State Cougar offensive line, how they've really started to pick up some of these twists. That same stunt and rush pattern that you saw early in the game that was getting Toole beat up is not working anymore. So that's a big credit to Elliott Bosch, Fullington, Eklund, Rogers, Jacobson up front. These big guys are hanging in there. They really have come to play off this bye week. They're marching down the football field again against a potent and powerful Stanford defense.
Quick one on 2nd and 10. In essence, that's a Washington State running play as they just flip it out. Williams advances the ball and shrink things down coming up here. And you know, it's just a different way to do things offensively. Mike Leach led the NCAA in passing in his 10 years at Texas Tech, led the NCAA 6 times, also led the country in total offense on 3 different occasions.
Yeah, he's had 18 NFL draft picks over the course of his career. Back in 2010, he had 21 players in the NFL. You know, 6 passing titles. The guy knows how to attack defenses, and Jeff Toole is really starting to understand these concepts and these schemes that bit by bit more every week.
3rd down and 6. Ratliff grabs another one. First down, Washington State. 84 wins in 10 years down in Lubbock. In the passing titles, total offense titles, school record 11 wins in 2008. Took the Red Raiders to the Cotton Bowl. And those 6 schools where he was an assistant, he would go anywhere and everywhere to coach. Those were not glorious stops, but you know what? He's a guy who really doesn't care. He talked about Valdosta State, saying, you know, if you're coaching at Valdosta State and you have a game, it's a big game.
He loves football, and you know, more importantly, he loves these young men, and he's developing champions on and off the football field. He's creating a culture change at Washington State. He's got a high demand for production. You know, we talked, there's 17 players who are no longer with that team, and it's either because they didn't want to be there anymore, because the new regime wasn't what they were looking for, or it was Coach Leach saying, you know what, you're not going to cut it, because we have new standards and expectations at Washington State. The guys who are still here have bought in.
And Toole just sends one out of the back of the end zone on 2nd down and 5.
It's a matter of time before this program gets back to being a force in the North.
Well, when he gets the off, he gets his players in, and he gets people like Toole would be a good example tonight. Now it's taken a good part of the season for this thing to click, but when it does, offensively, he'll cause you fits.
Yep, he knows exactly how to attack these defenses. We're going to see right here on a 3rd and 5 if he can come up with something to attack this Stanford defense, keep these chains moving into Stanford territory.
Toole. Swing it out. Winston is going to get dropped for a loss. A.J. Tarpley, the freshman. Solid open field tackle.
That's a really nice open field tackle. He kept his feet moving. He kept his head up, didn't duck his head. You know, this guy has continued to impress all year long. Mike Leach has said, you know what, we didn't come down here for Stanford just to keep it close. We're going to go for the win. We're going to go for it again here on 4th down.
4th and 6. Approaching 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Toole lets it go, open receiver. Wilson with the first down for the Cougars. And a knowing glance to the sideline because he looked like he was a little bit no man's land, losing his feet out there.
Timing of that route was thrown way off. The field's a little slick down there, so you got to send your best receiver out on the route. He falls, but look at Jeff Toole. He notices that, and he still puts that ball in a position that Wilson can make a catch. Again, credit to the offensive line for allowing Toole enough time to make that throw.
They'll go back that way on first down at the 23, and a late hit out of bounds. Scove didn't ease up.
Starting to see some players get frustrated. These Cougars, we talked about.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, late hit, number 11, half the distance to the goal, first down.
He actually got away with it. It looked like there was a face mask on that play too, but Stanford defenders are getting frustrated. We talked about Stanford's mentality was to throw body blows and wear the team out. It's Washington State who has come in today with a totally different style and has been wearing down the Stanford defense. It's been a war of attrition. These guys, they're looking phenomenally on the offensive side of the football today against a really good defense.
First and goal. Toole. Batted and incomplete. Thomas is chasing down Toole.
You're going to see a great job by Chase Thomas converting. He was trying to power rush and he saw the contain was broken. Gets a hand up, tip ball. Excellent play by a great athlete.
Second and goal. Toole. He's back left. Nobody near him, now goes over the middle, and it's caught. Touchdown! Williams hauls it in. 6:29 to go.
What an outstanding job by the offensive line of the Washington State Cougars. You see Stanford trying to come again with the axe done up the middle. Jeff Toole feels the pressure, buys himself a little more time by stepping to the side. Great job by the receivers staying alive. You had the Stanford defenders trying to plaster and stick tight to them, but they kept working. They extended the play, came up big. Here we are again. We said that Washington State, they got that football back, could march the football down just like they've been.
Now you said that Toole, after the pick six, was going to come back. He does just that. Back to a one-score game at Stanford. Back to a 7-point game at Stanford. Washington State will not go away. The last sequence. Toole throws a pick six to make it a 14-point game. You have to turn around and come right back out. Marches the team down, gets a touchdown.
Yeah, and that interception was really one of the only mistakes I've seen the guy make. I mean, this is all coming after he got beat up in the first quarter by the Stanford pass rush. I'm just overly impressed with how he's come back and how Mike Leach has prepared this football team to play.
Olin sends it deep. Go over the head of Wright. Time for the Coors Light freeze cam. Images of, there's one of the body blows early. I tell you what, Toole took some shots. Win the battle within. First touchdown, and David Shaw expressing his displeasure with the confusion on the timeouts at the end of the half. Remember, that confusion got Washington State a field goal. Whether or not they called the timeout or didn't call the timeout, Stanford didn't think they had a timeout. Cougars did. Got it with 2 seconds to go as Taylor turns over the right side and then came down and sent the game at halftime into a 10-10 tie. You just think psychologically what that does for a Washington State team on the road. It still does not have a conference win.
We saw them run off the football field. They were eager to get back into that locker room, get coached up. Stanford kind of walked off. It's clear the team that came to play today is the Washington State Cougars. They're hungry.
6 minutes to go for Stanford. Love to get a time-consuming drive and more points on the board. 7-point game. Stretch this one out and put Washington State in desperation mode. Taylor, you saw the graphic just pop up. After 189 last week against Cal, he's just down in the 40s. In the last 4 meetings, margin of victory, Stanford by 31. Last win for Washington State down on the farm, 2006. Anytime I see those numbers like 2006, it doesn't seem that long ago. And then I start thinking, like, wait a minute, it's 2012.
Yeah,
6 years.
Time flies.
3rd down and 4. Terrell motions. Nunes steps into one. Big catch and a first down for Stanford. Whitfield with his 2nd catch of the afternoon. He's got some pretty good history at Stanford.
He's got some great pedigree. Doesn't look at all like his dad, who was a big offensive lineman here. But this is actually the 2nd catch of the day for young Cody Whitfield and the 2nd catch of the season. This is a guy who they said is on the cusp of something great. They think he's going to be a phenomenal player here on the farm. 2 catches today, 2 first catches of the season for him.
Big 3rd down conversion for Stanford. Murphy motions to the left. Balance, and that's where the Cardinal go. And that is what Stanford is used to. Stephon Taylor chews up 11 more.
You're going to see another power play here. You're going to see the offside guard, Kevin Dancer, come around, get a great lead block by the fullback, get a great down block there. I mean, this is how you run the power. That's exactly how it's drawn up. That's actually the first time I've seen Washington State get hit by it. They've been doing a great job. Mike Bresby has these guys fitting up well. They've been fitting it well all day. And it was a matter of time before one of them was going to pop for some yards.
From the 48. Taylor tries the right side. Gets 3.
Timeout, Washington State. Timeout number 1.
Cougars burned their first timeout. Will step aside as well. 4:07 to go at Stanford. Cardinal holding tight to a 7-point lead. Quicken Loan's amazing play of the game. The pick 6 by the safety and Reynolds, his 4th interception of the year. That made it a 14-point game as he reads the eyes of Toole. Washington State came right back to get it back to 7, and now Taylor on 2nd down. Surges his way just for 2, and that'll bring up another big 3rd down. Washington State calls another timeout, 3:59 to go.
This will be the biggest 3rd down of the game. If Washington State can hold on here and force a 4th down, force a punt, it's going to put the ball back into the hands of Jeff Toole, who's been stellar today in his performance of moving this football in Mike Leach's offense.
Showdown Saturday rolls on with regional action featuring Cal at Utah, undefeated BCS Bowl contender number 7, Oregon State at Washington. Stay tuned for Pac-12 star power showcasing the likes of Keenan Allen, the return of Sean Mannon from Oregon State. Cal at Utah, Oregon State at Washington coming up next on the Pac-12 Network. Check out the website, pac-12.com, to find out when we'll get in your area. Here we go, 3rd down and 5. Nunes gonna pull it down. The Cougars gonna grab him and stop him. And Stanford sends out the punt team.
Huge stop for the Cougars defense. defensive secondary did a phenomenal job of covering all the receivers, not giving Nunes anywhere to go with the football. The guys on that defensive front, Gauta, Cooper, stayed after it, stayed hungry, stayed relentless in their pursuit to get home, getting Nunes on the ground, forcing the punt. A lot of time left for this offense. They've been moving the ball well all game long.
Washington State calls their final timeout, so 3:45 to go. Washington State realizing this is going to be the ball game. We're going to get it back. We'll have plenty of time. Our opportunity to try to get 7-6. You know, with Mike Leach, I'll tell you what, if they score a touchdown, I would not be shocked if they went for 2. Seriously.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. You know what, and the way this football team has played today, they deserve a victory. I mean, they came down here to Stanford against a tough defense, as tough as they come, and have moved the football. So impressed with this Cougar football team today.
This punt is going to sail into the end zone, and Stanford content. You know, they haven't let Washington State do anything in the return game, and that's just fine for the Cardinal. Toole, the senior quarterback, has been in and out of the lineup throughout the season for Washington State. The senior from Fresno played as well today as he has all year.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about him is, you know, the knock on him, you heard some of his coaches say that he likes to stay in the pocket too much, but today, he's taking off and running with that football. The defense is in man-to-man coverage with their backs turned. He's recognizing it and taking advantage of it, getting as many yards as he can for his offense, has kept the chains moving all day through the air, but also on the ground. And oh, by the way, he's been beat up the entire game. Toughness, tenacity, this guy's a player.
38 of 54, and here we go, over the middle. Caught by Ratliff. Seen a lot of people from Washington State making plays today who are working their way into the system of this Cougar offense. That bye week, that competition you talked about, there's guys who've earned some playing time. Clock moving, 7-point game, 2nd and 3. Toole tries a little sleight of hand, and Stanford doesn't buy it for a minute. Winston gets stuffed.
Wondering why they don't stay with the pass game. It's been so successful. They were thinking they could catch Stanford in a 3-man rush that they've been showing the past several plays. Try to sneak a draw. There was only 3 yards left for the first down. They were trying to keep the chains moving.
3rd and 5. Toole sidearms it incomplete in the direction of Wilson, and here come 2 flags. Officials conferencing at the 30.
Pass interference, defense, number 29. Automatic first down.
Ed Reynolds, who had the interception, returned for a touchdown.
Jeff Toole again. I mean, give credit to this guy for hanging in there. He's been on the ground time and time again, getting hit in the chest piece over and over again. And his ribs are going to be killing him tomorrow. He hung in there, gave his receiver a chance to make a play, and the first down. Reynolds was draped all over Wilson's back.
Down to 35 following the penalty. Toole scurries his way back to the line of scrimmage. This is what you do on a regular basis in practice.
They prepared for this situation. 2 minutes left to go in the game, knowing exactly how many yards they need. They know exactly how they want to attack this Stanford defense.
Going deep on 2nd and 10. Leaping catch made by Wilson. Down to the Stanford 22.
Terrence Brown gets caught in outside leverage with Marquise Wilson running a post route deep down the middle of the field. Again, credit to the offensive line for giving Jeff Toole the time to put that ball where it needs to be. You're throwing that up to a guy who's 6'4", 185 pounds. He's got the school record for career reception yards. That right there is one of the reasons why.
Flag down, pass complete at the 15 in the hands of Williams.
Personal foul. Chop block on the offense. 67. 15-yard penalty, still first down.
That will make things more difficult for Washington State.
Washington State has done a great job all day of being good with penalties.
Foul was on number 77.
But you can't have it. One guy engaged up top and have another guy go down on a high-low just to protect the defensive player. Good call by the officials. First, a very few penalties for Cougars today.
1st and 25. Toole try to get a little bit of it back. Williams with the catch and hops out of bounds with 1.5 minutes to go.
You talk about Williams and Bartolone come along today. As young guys who have really stepped up when early in the game. There wasn't anything there for their go-to guy, Wilson. So a great job of spreading the ball out, using multiple receivers on the day, multiple weapons.
Career day for Toole. 2nd and 16. Here comes pressure. Down goes Toole.
This is part of that disguise that the defensive coordinator for Stanford, Derek Mason, talked about. They showed off. Toole was probably thinking they were going to be in some form of zone. At the last second before the snap, all the defenders came up into a press situation, press man coverage, and threw Toole off just enough to buy time to allow the rush and Murphy to get home on the sack.
3rd and 21, 4-down territory, under 1 minute to go, 7-point game. Toole throws a rocket, incomplete. Ratliff was out there.
Great coverage again, once again, by Aminam on this play. Toole did a great job of putting it out there. They ran a deep scissors route. You had one guy going on a post, one on a corner. But Aminam does a great job of getting his head around, disrupting the pass just enough. Then we're facing a 4th and long. This could be the final play of the game.
Washington State out of timeouts. They don't convert here. Stanford's going to call a timeout. Cougars don't convert here. Cardinal could just take one snap, kneel down.
Yep.
And that would be the ball game. The conclusion of the triple header. Be sure to catch all the day's highlights on the State Farm post-game report. We'll recap this game and all the other big-time contests around the Pac-12 on a showdown Saturday. The State Farm post-game report tonight after the late game on Pac-12 Networks.
It'll be interesting to see how they try to attack from here. Are they going to try to isolate their go-to guy Wilson and get him in a one-on-one situation, or are they going to put him in the mix in a 3-by-1 set? Try to run some deep dig dagger routes or scissor routes, post corners. They've had success of hitting the deep ball a couple times today. It's 4th and very long. This could be the last offensive play for the
4th
Cougars.
and 21 from the 34. Receivers left, Toole lets it go down the middle. Did they get it? Yes! First down, Washington State. Ratliff hauls it in. Clock stop with 42 seconds.
An incredible catch by that young man right there. Unbelievable. Watch how he twists his body around, essentially making a one-handed catch. I mean, you can't ask the defensive back for any closer coverage.
1st and goal at the 9. Toole has to get rid of it, and it'll be grounding. Aminam came from the outside. Now the officials will have a conversation. And here comes another official.
They're talking about grounding. They're seeing if anyone saw anyone in the vicinity of where Toole was trying to throw.
Well, the Cougars keep coming up with the big play when they need it.
Intentional grounding on the offense. A penalty results in a loss and down at the spot of the foul. This foul also includes a 10-second subtraction. Timer set the game clock to 15 seconds. started on my signal.
Looked like Toole just saw the defender at the last second, and he knew he had a running back out in the flat and was hoping that he could just throw it in that general direction, but it just wasn't anywhere close enough to not be a penalty.
And Mike Leach telling everybody to get up over the football, because with the 10-second runoff, that gets us down to 15 seconds. And at the referee's signal, that clock's going to start moving.
They want to try to get 2 more plays at least out of this. 15 seconds left on the clock.
Second and goal now at the 19. Clock moving. Toole. Sacked! Cougars don't have any timeouts. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stanford wins 24-17.
Rich, I can't say enough about this Washington State Cougar football team. I mean, the way they move the football against this defense is quite impressive. I mean, it's safe to say that they're well on their way to getting this program headed in the right direction, especially from an offensive standpoint. Mike Leach implements his system. They're going to be tough to beat when all these younger guys come to know this offensive playbook inside and out.
We talked at length about the defensive front for Stanford. Henry Anderson comes in to seal this one. They came up with the 2 big plays. Amanam on the outside, forcing the intentional grounding, which burned off 10 more seconds, costing Washington State an opportunity, perhaps another play, get one into the end zone. And then Anderson on the defensive line with the sack of Toole. And Washington State out of timeouts at that point, couldn't stop the clock. And Stanford escapes with a 24-17 victory over Washington State. And for the Cougars, you talked about it. It's going to be another close one. It's going to be another heartbreak. You know what? They'll be disappointed, but brighter days are ahead. But the reality for them is it's 2-7 and now 0-5, and we go down to Aaron Coscarelli.
Well, Coach, you guys never really did get into a rhythm. What is your takeaway from tonight?
Well, the big thing with our guys that I love about them is they always fight. We keep fighting all the way to the end. We don't play as smart as we need to play all the time. In spurts, we played like us, but for 60 minutes, that wasn't what we're capable of.
And you talk about responding to adversity. Your defense came up big there in the end. What are you going to say to the guys in the locker room?
Well, we're never going to be dissatisfied with a win, but there's a lot of things we can clean up, so many things we can do better, so many missed opportunities that we have to get better if we want to do what we want to do the rest of the season.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Guys.
Thank you, Aaron. Well put by the head coach. You'll never be disappointed in a W, but Stanford knows they can and will need to play better moving forward.
A lot that they need to work on. Credit to Washington State, how they came to play today, but also credit to the Stanford Cardinal for finding a way to hang on and pull it off for a victory late in the game.
A win is a win, and the Cardinal are now 7-2, 4-1 in conference. Well, another wild one in the Pac-12. Would you expect anything less? That's going to do it from On the Farm. We'll send you to our Pac-12 studios in San Francisco.